Phytonutrients and the link to cancer. In this video, you will discover how food contains information that can alter your genes. We can't change our genes, but we can change how they're expressed, and this is very empowering. And also, this is something you can influence with your diet every day to reduce your risk to cancers and to optimize your health. And you get to feel better and have more energy. This is a bonus. We're looking at the interaction of diet and lifestyle on cancer promotion and reversal. And in this video, we're going to focus in on phytonutrients. Every culture from around the world, from ancient cultures, the hunter and gatherers, to farmers, to the modern society, and everyone in between knows the one key piece of wisdom that's been passed down through time that still holds true today. You are what you eat. Nutrigenomics is the study in science of how food affects the expression of our genes on multiple levels. We innately know this, but the scientists and the researchers are now starting to prove it and show us how it happens. Epidemiological studies continue to support the premise that diets rich in fruits and vegetables may offer protection against cancer of various anatomical sites. And this correlation is quite persuasive for vegetables including garlic, broccoli, watercress, and vegetables such as tomatoes. As well, this paper from 2011 entitled Dietary Patterns and Colorectal Cancer, a case-controlled study from Portugal, they stated, our results confirm the higher risk of colorectal cancer among subjects with Western diets. And Western diets are those with the high consumption of red meat, processed meat, refined cereals, sugars and sweets, potatoes, alcohol, and a low intake of whole grains and vegetables. And there's a lower risk to cancer with healthy diets, that is, high consumption of dairy products, whole grain cereals, vegetables and salads, legumes, fruits and veggies, soup, and a low intake of wine. Another paper from 2011 entitled Anti-Cancer Antioxidant Regulatory Functions of Phytochemicals. They stated consumption of fruits and vegetables is associated with a decreased risk of pathological status, including cancers. In another current paper entitled The Role of Natural Dietary Compounds in Colorectal Cancer Chemoprevention, they stated the mechanism of their chemopreventive action are associated with, for example, the modulation of gene expression involved in the regulation of cell proliferation, differentiation, and apoptosis, which is cell death, and the suppression of metastasis and angiogenesis. Wow, that's a mouthful. What did that all mean? That phytonutrients act to downregulate the genes that express cancer, is simply put. And this anti-carcinogenic properties of these food compounds are also related to inhibition of many inflammatory agents. Again, as we've gone through these videos, you're starting to see this connection between inflammation, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and cancers. And these papers are just confirming this. And another current paper from 2011, Dietary Factors Associated with Prostate Cancer, Protective Effects of the Mediterranean Diet. Most of us have heard about the Mediterranean diet, and this statement was, diet risk factors are associated with a 35% reduction of cancer mortality and a 10 to 12% of reduction mortality in prostate cancer. These are great risk reduction numbers from eating more fruits and vegetables and more of those healthy oils. And yet another paper from 2011, fruits and vegetable consumption is inversely associated with having pancreatic cancer, which is a terrible cancer. What they're saying here, the more fruits and veggies you eat, the less chance of this cancer. And their statement, we provide evidence that lower consumption of fruits and veggies and whole grains and fiber is associated with having cancer. So, if you have a low fruit and veggie intake, you have an increased risk of pancreatic cancer. If you have a high fruit and vegetable intake, you have a low risk. And again, essential fatty acids can play an important role in cancer. Dr. Muzarak is a nutrition and metabolism professor at the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Canada. She also led cancer studies for the University of Guelph in Ontario, and she's published dozens of related studies in peer-reviewed journals. Her research team focused on the relationship between nutrients and cancer. And this trial was on essential fatty acids in cancer. They took 40 lung cancer patients. 16 of them received essential fatty acids. 20 of them got no supplement. And 10 weeks later, the results revealed that the group that got the essential fatty acids, 70% of them gained muscle. And muscle preservation is very important in cancer. And they were quicker to recover from their chemotherapy. The group that received no supplement, they lost muscle. That's called sarcopenia, and it's very unhealthy. As well, they were slower to recover from chemotherapy. So essential fatty acids can reduce inflammation, and inflammation is promoting cancers on multiple different levels. You've heard about trans fats, these hydrogenated oils. Well, it's interesting to note that there are safe levels for the intake of lead, doses of X-rays, even mercury. However, there is no safe level of trans fatty acids, and people should eat as little of them as possible. That was a powerful statement released by the National Academy of Science, September 5th, 2002. Trans fats are strongly associated with increased risk of cancer. You really should cut them out of your diet and replace them with the healthy oils such as flax oil, olive oil, hemp oil, and fish oils. This was a special paper published in the Archives of Internal Medicine in 2005. And what the researchers did was they reviewed about 97 studies with almost 280,000 people. And they looked at total mortality reduction and cardiac mortality. And they looked at different agents such as omega-3 oils, statin drugs, and so on. And they found that the total mortality reduction, so the reduction in death because of omega-3 oils, was a 23% reduction, which is fantastic. And the statin drugs had a 13% reduction. So omega-3 oils were better at reducing total mortality than statin medications. When they looked at cardiac mortality, they found that the omega-3 oils had a 32% reduction, whereas statin drugs only had about a 22% reduction. Again, these essential fatty acids had a great improvement at reducing mortality and death. These were great numbers supporting and validating the research on essential fatty acids. How did this unfold? What are some of the possible mechanisms of action of the omega-3 fats? Well, they have anti-arrhythmic effects. That is, they slow and reduce arrhythmia in the heart. They can prevent your blood from clotting. They can prevent your blood vessels from becoming occluded or blocked. They have anti-inflammatory effects. They improve the functioning of your blood vessels. They can help lower blood pressure and lower triglycerides. As well, the omega-3 oils in cancer prevention, what and how do they work there? They reduce inflammation. They can reduce angiogenesis. They decrease oncogenes. They can induce differentiation, and that causes the cancer cells to die. They can suppress chemical mediators, hormones in the body that promote inflammation and cancer. And they can prevent cachexia, the wasting of tissue, as the previous study showed. And I asked the question, do you need more reasons to take fish oil? Fish oils are called essential fatty acids, and we get them from our diet. Our bodies don't make them. If we look at the type of fat in our diet, animal fats, those fats, as you learned in some of the previous videos, can wash over your genes, and they can promote inflammation and diabetes and so on. Whereas on the other side, if you have the health-promoting fats, the omega-3 oils, the flax oil, the olive oils, and so on, those healthy oils, they wash over your genes and they can reduce inflammation. We don't change our genes. However, we can change how our genes are expressed. If you want to help prevent and reverse inflammation, which promotes cancer, then you must address the underlying contributors, and the quality of the fat in your diet is one of those important lifestyle modulators. So fat quality. Good fat is really good, and bad fat is really bad. And trans fats, saturated fats, the modified lipid products, and excessively heated fats, those hydrogenated fats, you should cut them out of your diet and stay away from them. There's something called the rule of reasonableness. If you eat and drink junk, if you act like junk, say you don't move or exercise much, if you think junk, maybe you have a poor attitude, a poor mood, or if you have chronic stress, and maybe you talk junk, you always focus on the negative and you aren't very optimistic, guess what? Your body will be junk, and it will allow the development and promotion of cancer. This is the rule of reasonableness. Sometimes our common sense seems to get lost in all the hype and marketing of science and research papers and so on. But every culture knows, you probably know as well, you are what you eat. So let's see how this plays out in the body. Fruits and vegetables, spices and certain herbs, they contain phytonutrients, phytochemicals, and let's call that good information. That washes over our genes. This picture of a mixing board shows the many different ways that these phytonutrients, and there's no just one single one, it's all the different families, and it's not just beta carotene, it's the whole family of carotenoids, and it's not just vitamin E, it's the whole family of tocotrienols and tocopherols and so on. It's the whole family, the whole broad spectrum of these phytonutrients that wash over your genes, and they cause your genes to be expressed in a healthy, positive way. That leads to healthy growth and development, healthy adults and children, and throughout our life, that leads to healthy aging. And healthy aging is where we want to go. You are what you eat, and food can be medicine or food can be poison. And we'll look at this with the next example. Again, junk food, fast food, nutrient-deprived food, let's call this poor information. There's not a lot of phytochemicals in there. Those signals wash over your genes, over the keyboards. Remember, we don't change our genes, but we can influence which genes are expressed through our diet and the nutrients in it. And that poor information washes over our genes, and when the babies are born, maybe there's a problem. And if this continues on through teenagehood, into adulthood, then we start getting the obesity, the belly fat, the inflammation, the toxicity, and so on. We don't get very healthy aging. You are what you eat, and food can be medicine or poison. So what are you going to choose? These pictures show fruits and vegetables, a healthy diet, or fast food, processed food. Because the food has signals, it will wash over your genes, and you'll get unhealthy aging or you'll get healthy aging. It's your choice. You get to choose every day. As a matter of fact, you get to choose every time you pick up food and put it in your mouth. This is hugely empowering. You have control over this. No one else. Food and cancer. Fast food, processed, refined food has poor information. It's low in vitamins and minerals. It's low in phytonutrients. It's low in antioxidants, and it promotes inflammation. It has poor or misinformation, if you will. It can be acid forming in the body. It can elevate blood sugar and blood glucose, which feeds cancer. It can elevate insulin, and insulin, as you've learned, is a growth promoter and promotes certain cancers. It can disrupt circulation and cause the blood vessels to become blocked, so you get low oxygen delivery to the tissue. And again, a low oxygen environment is what cancer cells like. It can disrupt other hormones and create more stimulation for the cancer cells. Now compare this to fruits and vegetables and herbs and spices that are loaded with good information. They have a high vitamin and mineral content, including fibers. They have a high phytonutrient content. They have high antioxidants, and they reduce inflammation. They have quote-unquote correct information. They have alkalizing effects in the body. They're rich in minerals that help alkalize the body and reduce acids. They can help stabilize our blood sugars and glucose. And that in turn can also help stabilize insulin. And again, lower insulin, less proliferation signals. It can help improve circulation, and that means more oxygen to the tissue. That means, one, you get more energy, and two, it allows the removal of waste products from the tissues. And it helps balance hormones, and it's less stimulating on the cells. So as you can see, food has a powerful effect on your physiology. Berries, fruits and vegetables, herbs and spices. Good food has good information, and it reduces your risk to cancer. And please understand, nutrition is not alternative medicine. Nutrition is the foundation of life. For some reason, this rule of reasonableness, that nutrition is the foundation of life, has been lost in modern society. This is vital. You are what you eat. Neurology, biochemistry, and physiology are very complex. However, good health is not. You can apply this simple rule of reasonableness and increase the quality of your life. Analysis of the relationship between diet and exercise beliefs and actual behaviors among breast cancer survivors in Northwest Ohio. This was in the journal Breast Cancer in 2010. I'm going to read this because it's so important. Many breast cancer survivors do not appear to be aware of the benefits of diet and exercise. Further, a large proportion of those who are aware of the benefits do not adapt a healthy diet and exercise as part of their lifestyle. It's apparent by the pattern our data shows that more needs to be done to educate breast cancer survivors about the benefits of exercise and fruit and vegetable intake. And there's a problem here. They also stated, the doctors and the clinicians, they're not trained in prevention, and they aren't promoting enough. The medical system is not trained in prevention and using nutrition as a core fundamental treatment, if you will. So the doctors aren't trained in prevention and they aren't promoting enough. Combined with this, the patients aren't following through. They aren't following the good advice. And this leads to a conundrum. They aren't getting the health results they want. We have control of our future. A statement is that 75% of an individual's health after the age 40 is dependent upon what the person has done to his or her genes, not to the genes themselves. And that environmental factors constitute 80 to 90% of cancer risk. Environmental factors, your diet and lifestyle. We have to become response-able and take control of our life. We have to take control of our health and our well-being. The next video will integrate all the different aspects you've learned in these different training videos, and we'll look at some solutions to preventing and reversing cancer. This will help you better address the root cause of cancer and chronic diseases. As cancer affects so many family and friends, please forward this video onto them so they can benefit as well. Thank you.